I'm going to tell you exactly how much YouTube paid me my first year of being monetized. Well, actually, my first 14 to 15 months. But anyway, at least there'll be a year worth of monetization in there. Now, I know what you're thinking. You just looked at this channel and said, wait, you're not monetized. You got like 4 subscribers. Well, this is my new channel where I'm going to talk about things like YouTube content creation. My other channel, Homestead DIY, is the channel that is monetized. That's the one we're going to look at and talk about today. I'll put a link in the description, so please go check it out if you're interested at all. I'm going to give you a detailed look at the analytics for the Homestead DIY YouTube channel. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about my YouTube journey. Now, if all you care about is the analytics and the actual number about how much I made in the first year, go ahead and skip to this part in the video right here, and you can see that number revealed. Okay. Thank you for those that didn't skip forward. I appreciate you sticking with me. My analytics will definitely appreciate it. So let's dive into my YouTube history just a little bit. So I uploaded my first YouTube video in 2014. It was a simple video, just showing how I took a DeWalt palm sander and made a mount for it so that I could hold small parts and sand them. Now, just like most first-time YouTube creators, I assumed I'd be an overnight success and have a viral video, but obviously that didn't happen. Then every year or so, I would post a video or two, some from a car show, some from a bridge that was being built near my work, some from when I upgraded my computer, but nothing really ever took off. And then in 2019, we built a deck for our RV, and it turned out to be a really awesome deck. I didn't take video during the build, but I took a ton of photos. So I ended up making a YouTube video just going through the photos and kind of talking through the process of how I did the build. I got quite a few views, but nothing spectacular, but I ended up making a follow-up video to that and was kind of proud of the results. But again, it wasn't enough to make me think anything was going to come from it. Then we moved into our new house in 2021. I did a few videos here and there, just showing off the property, talking about kind of what we plan to do with the property, a time-lapse build of my new shop getting built. And I did a video of my neighbor's property. He had brought in a forestry mulcher to clean up some of the property. And I filmed that from a couple of locations, sent up a drone and got some footage. And I ended up putting together a video from that. It was a fairly long video. Didn't really think much of it, but I went ahead and uploaded it to YouTube. And then about a year later, I was on YouTube and happened to look at some analytics and noticed that forestry mulcher video had gotten over 11,000 views, kind of out of nowhere. I didn't expect it. I mean, it was a really crappy video, to be honest. I really just threw some footage together and kind of did a voiceover on top of it with really bad audio, and I uploaded it. But again, it had 11,000 views and quite a few watch hours. So I was kind of impressed and immediately thought, man, this isn't so hard. This should be really easy. And then about the same time, the camper video kind of took off, kind of out of nowhere. I guess it started getting picked up in search and it had around 5,000 views. And because of this limited success, around the end of 2022, I decided I was going to give YouTube monetization a try. I was going to do what I could to try to get monetized. And then I would determine, is this something I really like doing? Is it easy enough that I can keep doing it and eventually try to maybe make something out of this channel? So that's kind of where it started. I decided to just at least try to get monetized and then reevaluate it from there. So I started listening to YouTube creation podcasts. I started reading a few books and, took some really bad advice. And first I decided, well, let's upload a video a day. Somebody had said, if you just are consistent and upload constantly, the algorithm starts rewarding you and you're going to get views just because you upload all the time. So I started trying to make a video every day. And that lasted for a couple of weeks, and I uploaded probably 14 really, really crappy videos. They're all still there. I have a bad habit about not deleting videos, whether or not they perform well or not. They're just all still there. But I went down that road and learned a lot from doing that. But I really didn't get any views from those videos. Now, I still had a lot of watch hours from my forestry mulcher video and the camper video. Those were still clicking along, getting up around 15, 20,000 views. So I was getting a lot of watch hours because they had really good watch time for each of those videos. But I wasn't gaining subscribers. I had to figure out how to add subscribers to my channel. So I heard one creator talking about using YouTube short remixes to create short videos and then talk about how many subscribers he was getting for those videos. So I ended up going down that route. I would take one of my long form videos and find a spot in the video and cut that up and make it a remix short. It may be something as simple as using the miter saw to cut some wood, or using the framing nailer to, build the frame of a building. Anything like that seemed to get really good views as shorts and would start gaining subscribers. Now, at that point, I would do maybe one short a day and maybe 3 to 4 each day on the weekend, because it was a lot of work going through, scrubbing through, finding the spots to make the remix short, going through the process, letting it upload. It took a little bit, and you'd have to go in and schedule them. And I actually had gotten the process down really well. And I actually did a video on my channel talking about how to get 250 subscribers in 60 days, because that's really is what it turned into for me. I was able to get about 125 subscribers a month using the short remix method. Prior to that, I was probably on average gaining a subscriber a day. And if you look at a subscriber a day on average, you're at least 3 to 3.5 years to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark. And actually, even though I'm monetized now, I've got around 3,000 subscribers. Still not a ton, but it's definitely, growing. And it wasn't growing at the level I wanted to. So I decided to adopt the short remix method again to try to boost my subscriber count. But this time I had a little bit of a secret weapon. I found this tool called Opus Clips. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. So it does the work for me, pretty much the exact same process I was doing to create remix shorts. I give it a link to my long form video, and it creates anywhere, depending on the length of the video, it'll create anywhere from maybe 5 to 20 to 30 small clips. I can use those clips to upload as shorts. Now, I can do it in a couple of ways. I can download the videos and then upload them into YouTube myself. Or if you're a subscriber to the service, you can go ahead and schedule it to upload the clips to YouTube. But it can also do TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all these social media things, and you can immediately push out to all these platforms at once. And that's what I do today. I actually upload 5 shorts a day to YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I try to bring in 5 long form videos and have it cut those into short clips. And then each day I publish one video from each of the long form videos as a clip. And I have really been amazed at how fast my subscriber count has started growing on YouTube again. But it's also growing on TikTok. I just started my TikTok account a month ago or so, and I'm already above 400 followers. Now, a lot of you guys say, well, man, I've got way more than 400 followers, but the kind of content I do is not typically the content that's going to gain a lot of followers really quickly. It's kind of difficult on a DIY type channel to move very quickly. But Opus Clip really helps me solve a lot of those problems. And the fact that it handles the scheduling for me, I don't have to download and re-upload. It takes care of that. It adds captions onto the videos. It uses AI to find the perfect stop and start. But if you don't like it, you can go in and edit each clip and change what it's zooming in on. You can change the aspect ratio of that, a little clip. You could change just about anything you want on that clip and save it. And it really, really works great. And don't feel like you have to subscribe to Opus Clip. There is a free version, and that's what I use for the first month. But if you go to the paid version, you end up pulling off the watermark, and you get the ability to have it schedule and upload the clips for you directly onto the social media platforms. And that is worth every bit of it for me right there. Again, there's an affiliate link in the description if you'd like to check it out. So the remix shorts, they helped me get to my initial 1,000 subscribers. But I was still having a little bit of a tough time getting my watch hours. Because remember, the watch hours from shorts don't count towards monetization. So about in March of 2024, we were building our barbecue shack, and that created about 6 videos. Those 6 videos really helped push my watch hours over the limit. I was getting really good retention and watch time for each of those videos that came out. And about June of 2024, I hit the monetization threshold. So about half the month of June, I was monetized. So now let's go ahead and dive in and look at the analytics themselves and let you guys see if you think it's worth the time to try YouTube. All right, let's go ahead and get into the analytics here. So I'm in YouTube Studio. We'll go to the analytics tab and we're going to look at revenue, and we'll come down here. By default, it's going to show you the last 6 months down here. But we go to see more. And, by default here, it's going to show you the last 365 days. So you get the last 12 months. Well, I've been monetized for a little bit more than 12 months. So we're going to go ahead and do lifetime. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't have a way to do 2 years. It goes from a year to lifetime. Seems to be about the best way it goes, but it is what it is. And I don't really care about the chart. Now, when this pops up, it's automatically sorted by revenue. I want it sorted by date. So we'll resort it here. Okay. Now I've got a few random other months that I got something. Looks like I got 12 cents one time, 0.003 or 0.3 cents one time, and then 1 cent one time. I think that was back in 2017 for some reason. I think it was a web page I had that was some way doing AdSense. Anyway, what we're really here to talk about is starting in June of 2024. About midway through the month, I got monetized and started watching every day. And I was kind of shocked. I was making, $3 or $4 a day, which I was shocked. I thought I'd be making pennies a day in anything. So, ended up making, for the partial month there, got a little over $40. Worked my way up to 85, 96 in August. And then my goal, once I hit 96, was like, ooh, this is awesome. Let's shoot for 100. So I was able to pop up above 100 in September, October, November, December. It was all looking great. I'd started sliding down a little bit in December, but then January of 25 hit. And, I had always heard that right after the first of the year was a really tough time. Views were down. You're also not getting as much from advertisers wanting to pay for the ads. So, revenue goes way down in January and February. And I definitely saw that. Started climbing back up in March. There is a reason for that. I think you get better views as you get into the year a little bit, but I have some videos that do really well around like lawnmower repair, riding lawnmower repair. So those started to kick off in March, April, May. And so that was where a lot of my views were coming from in these months. And I, was steadily working my way up. Not sure what happened in July, because August ended up being my biggest month so far. I was so close to getting 200, but I ended up at 199.06. September, we just posted the final September numbers, and I'm back down again. Now, one thing I did notice, if you look between July and September of 25, my views, I was almost 20,000 views in July. I was barely a little less than 15 in September, but it was almost the same amount of money, actually just a few cents more actually. But if you look at the CPM, I had a higher CPM for some reason in September than I did in July. So that kind of makes up the difference there. So that being said, so far, I completely got monetized with the full 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours in the last year in middle of June of 24. And since then, I've made a little over $2,000. Now, again, that's obviously not anything I'm going to live on. It's something that I use to help fund projects, buy equipment. I bought a Rode Wireless Pro mic that I love. I've got some other equipment, new tripods, things like that I'm using. I do want to start buying some tools. I've got enough saved now. I want to go buy a new planer for my workshop. I just haven't got around to getting it yet. But that's kind of where we are. I said I would show you how much I've made so far. Now, this is one of the two sources of income. The other one is Amazon Associates and Affiliates. That's a whole different number. If anybody's interested in seeing that, let me know and I'll talk through that. So far, I'm making less than I'm making on YouTube. YouTube AdSense is the biggest thing right now. I've started a TikTok channel, an Instagram channel, not monetized on either one of those. So it's actually going to be a while before I get monetized. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm pushing out shorts, TikTok, and Instagram every day, at least 5 times a day right now using Opus Clip. And if you're interested in checking out Opus Clip, please go use my affiliate link in the description. But this should give you all the information you need to know about how much I made on YouTube. Again, not enough to retire, just enough to make it a nice side hustle, a little bit of a hobby. Um, so anyway, in your first year, how much have you made? If you're monetized on YouTube, how much have you made in your first year? I'd love to hear in the comments. Well, there you have it. There's my how much money I made on YouTube in the last 12 months, 14 months, whatever. Now, is it worth it for you to try it? That's up to you to say. It's not a whole lot of money. I think we can all agree with that. Now, it does open some doors. As you get monetized, your subscriber count starts to grow. You're going to get more ability to look at sponsorships and things like that. You're pushing your affiliate links out there, things like Amazon affiliates, Amazon associates. So you're making a little money from that. But again, it's not all about the money for me. I did a video on my Homestead DIY channel. I'll put a link in the description, but it talks about why I'm really doing YouTube. And you'll see from that video, it's really not about the money. I mean, the money's great, what little bit there is. I mean, it is something I want to continue to find a way to get some of, but it's nice to be able to use it for some of the projects, but that's not my main goal for the channel, was to make money. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I'd love to hear about your journey in the comments and where you are, how close you are to get monetized. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them.